petition to abolish the death penalty board, and if they'll raise their hand, you may not be able to see them. And your applause is their thanks for Tyler's work throughout the session of their fight to stop that execution. Now I want to bring forward Roselle Aaron, who is the NAACP president of Arkansas, of the Arkansas Conference. In his short tenure as president, he's proven to be a leader in the quest for civil and human rights for all. Roselle?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We owe a debt of gratitude to all of the organizers of this rally, including Attorney Ferranda Brasfield, the Executive Director of the Arkansas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty and Chairwoman of the Criminal Justice Committee for the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, and all of those surviving victims and families of victims of violent crimes, representatives of clergy, politicians, concerned citizens, and media outlets from across the world. I've had the privilege of speaking at many engagements over the years, and this is by far the most urgent, primarily because it involves a matter of life and death. The deaths of the victims of violent crimes and the lives of those waiting on death row to become victims of a violent crime. Many of us have lost loved ones to violent crimes, but it is worrisome to me how politics has the ability to turn professed men and women of God into the faces of hypocrisy. But it is not surprising. We allow politicians to come into our churches for an opportunity to profess their faith and commitment to God in the hopes of gaining our votes. They quote scripture from our pulpits and podiums, and many of them honor God with their mouths, but their hearts are far from God. As I stand here today by the grace and mercy of God the Creator, it is of utmost urgency that I appeal to those anti-abortion, pro-life, Bible-thumping politicians that closed up their hymn books and their Bibles to allow them to collect dust until the next election cycle. It is with utmost urgency that we remind the political and citizen supporters of the death penalty that vengeance belongs to God. That only God has the divine right to give or to take life. One of the first things we learn as children in church were the 10 Commandments. The sixth of those commandments is that thou shalt not commit murder. The God that we serve does not allow an exception or waiver to this commandment. It is no longer an eye for an eye, but to do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Brother Hutchinson, if you were on death row, would you choose to live or to die? If your choice would be life, then the answer is to do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Notwithstanding the fact that men and women have been wrongly convicted and murdered by man's injustice disguised as justice, to satisfy the flesh of man's thirst for revenge. Notwithstanding the fact that previously convicted death row inmates have been exonerated. Notwithstanding the fact that vengeance belongs to God, man's injustice disguised as justice posits that the law of man in cases such as these outweighs the law of God. I stand here today as the voice of many, the members of the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, in unity with all of the partners of this great coalition of true justice, to both believers and non-believers, to appeal to those that have the ability to stop this injustice against the natural humanity of man and against the law of God, to those that profess to be saved of grace, to those including Brother Asa Hutchinson, the governor of the great state of Arkansas, to do unto others as he would have others to do unto him. were convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death, confined to a concrete metal box for 10 to 30 years, waiting for your date of expiration, praying for God's forgiveness, redemption, grace, and mercy. Governor, do unto them as you would have them to do unto you. Yeah. But if our words shall fall on deaf ears, I will hope that those of you that support the death penalty allow these murders to take place. From the citizen supporters to legislators to Brother Asa Hutchinson, would not hide in the shadows of death, but be front and center to witness the murders of Mr. Bruce Ward, Mr. Don Davis, Mr. Stacy Johnson, Mr. Liddell Lee,